What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Critical Hit. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Sony buying Bungie. We were not expecting in our first episode, when Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, that just a week later, that Sony would be making a huge acquisition of their own. This has apparently been in the works for years, according to reports, and Nick's going to take it away with the details of this giant acquisition.
So, the Activision deal was for, a humongous amount. This one was a little bit less. Still more money than we'll ever see, but it was for $3.6 billion. You have to realize that in this acquisition, realistically, the only IP that they actually got was Destiny. But it is kind of funny that Microsoft bought a studio known for PlayStation games, and Sony bought the studio that made Microsoft what it is.
Yeah, Microsoft owns Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, and now Sony owns the people that made the Halo games and created what it is today.
Like, that's astronomically weird.
Yeah, it's like completely flipped. If you told someone that 10 years ago, they'd probably laugh at you. But there's a couple of quotes here that kind of helps explain things. So, Bungie will remain an independent subsidiary of SIE. Bungie will remain a multi-platform studio with the option to self-publish, and Bungie is still maintaining Destiny 2, working on the Destiny franchise expansion, and also a new IP that's apparently coming out. And also, the main reason for this, seemingly, according to the quotes, is that Sony wanted to get more into the live service game side of things, and also they wanted to help bring Bungie's IPs over to the big screen. And there was a quote, which I have here, from Sony CFO Hiroki Totoki. I may have said that wrong. I apologize if I did. That, quote, Bungie want to nurture the IP they have in a multi-dimensional manner. We believe we can help that. We have Sony Pictures and Music, and Bungie can leverage our platform. So this is seemingly going to be bringing possibly maybe even a Destiny movie at some point.
First of all, that could be like a whole video on its own with these game studios trying to make movies. Video game movies historically never work out.
The Rock's making another one.
Oh, he's making a COD movie, right? That's weird. And then there's like the Halo TV show coming out.
Yeah, that's a thing.
And then there's the Uncharted movie that's coming out is out by the time this video comes out. I don't know.
I don't know when it's coming out, but it's close because they're putting out like the trailers and stuff for it.
Yeah, it's a little weird that all these game studios are trying to get that going. You said something that needs to be made clear here.
Yes.
So they are going to be remaining like an independent thing. Like, people were freaking out thinking Destiny was only going to be on PlayStation.
Well, yeah. So this seemingly appears that it's going to stay multi-platform. So it looks like it's going to stay on Xbox and PlayStation, like at least Destiny. But I think the main thing for this is, Call of Duty, the next 3 Call of Duties, according to the reports, are going to be on PlayStation. But then after those 3 Call of Duties, no one is exactly sure. So in case Xbox does decide to make COD an exclusive franchise for their systems, Sony now has the company that designed the Halo games to help give them possibly their own exclusive FPS game, which would be a lot of help.
And that's another thing that I was going to bring up, is that they were really clear when they worded their messages about it. They were really clear that they're only talking about Destiny 1 and 2 and the DLCs.
What do you mean?
They specifically said those games will remain cross-platform.
Yes.
They did not say Destiny 3, which is confirmed.
That's confirmed?
It's a trilogy.
Oh, so it's done after the third game?
It might be like Halo, they make 3 and then they just make more or redo the series. But it's a confirmed trilogy, at least for now. And like I said, they clearly kind of made it seem like only the first 2. The third one is probably going to be, like Justin said, a bargaining tool. And they'll determine whether or not they want to make it cross-platform dependent upon what Microsoft does with Call of Duty. But it's also kind of important to remember that Bungie, so like we said, this deal has been in the works for years. Bungie, since Destiny 1, has had exclusive deals with Sony. And for anyone that played Destiny, I actually remember this from the first game. I didn't play much of the second game because I really didn't like it. But the first game, there were exclusive guns that only PlayStation got. Like, one of them being the Jade Rabbit, which was what is it called? It's like an M14 type of gun. So that was, it's an exclusive exotic, and that really pissed off people on Xbox.
Well, I mean,
because it's an exotic gun. It's not like it's just a just a random legendary or something.
We talked about that in our first video. It's like this kind of, exclusive stuff like this sucks for the consumers. But I just want to come in here with another quote, basically reaffirming what I said before. Sony says Bungie will remain a multi-platform studio, quote, to self-publish and reach players wherever they choose to play. So, again, this seems like, I'm not sure. I guess it'll stay multi-platform. But again, if COD goes exclusive, I wouldn't be shocked if Sony tries to work something out to get an exclusive FPS game for themselves.
Well, you talked about how they have a new IP in the works.
Yes,
right?
Reportedly.
And this is the rumor that I heard, is that what they're doing is, because if you've played Destiny, you know that, like, in terms of an FPS game, it's really unique, but there's a couple of problems that it has with making it it can never be like Call of Duty, because number one, you have to farm for that gear. Mm-hmm. And bring it into the Crucible, which is like their...
Yeah, that's multiplayer.
They're So, like, that's an issue right there. It's never going to be fully balanced because of that.
Yeah.
What they could do, obviously, is, like, make preset classes in certain game modes. Like, there could be, like, Legacy Crucible, which is just the standard. And then there's, like, Competitive, which would be preset stuff. But people probably wouldn't like that in Destiny. Mm-hmm. So what I'm thinking is, with the new IP, they're trying to make, like, their version of a futuristic shooter. So, like, their version of a Halo, because Destiny's not really Halo.
Yeah, well, Bungie made Halo.
Exactly. I think that's what this new IP is. It's an FPS.
They should.
That's going to focus more on multiplayer.
That's what they need. Because if you look at all the Sony exclusives, and I realized this, I saw this pointed out online. Not even that. They're all third-person single-player
that's another
games.
Thing.
Like God of War, Last of Us, Horizon, Uncharted, all third-person single-player games, and only some have multiplayer. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Once Upon a Time.
Spyro, Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, all of them. They're all third-person games. They have to switch it up. I mean, they made the Killzone game, but I remember that wasn't well received, I believe.
Yeah, after, nobody likes Killzone.
Yeah.
I don't even remember which game they started flopping.
I never played it. I think it was the new one, which was years ago. That was back when PS4 came out, which, that's why you probably haven't seen a new one since then.
That's something I want to talk about. Like, what does this mean for, like, the future? So, if they could use Destiny as a bargaining chip, number one. I could only imagine the rage Microsoft people would feel if they held off on giving them DLCs. Because with these types of games, with these farming games, the big thing is getting the new gear, new weapons first. Like, being the first people to do that. If they make it so that you get it, like, a month later, people will switch off of the console just for that.
The thing is, though, is that, like I understand what you mean, but the thing is, they're saying that it's that Bungie can choose to be multi-platform. They don't have to just only do Sony.
Yeah, I think for this one, they're going to stay. Like, but Destiny 3, it's a complete toss-up. Like, you never know, because this could be in years in the future. They're not working on Destiny 3 right now. Mm-hmm. Like, by the time they make that, like, that could be, like, 8 years from now, something like that. I don't know how many Destiny 2 DLCs are left. Like,
they did this for live services. It's just like how we talked about in the first video. Microsoft did it for mobile gaming. Like, I think I read today, as we're recording this video on today is February 4th, I saw something today about, like, they want to make a World of Warcraft mobile game. So they did it for mobile gaming, and Sony did this for live service gaming, which there's a quote now I have here from Jim Ryan, who's the president and CEO. Bungie, quote, Bungie's successful track record in multi-format publishing and live game services will assist us in realizing our ambitions to take PlayStation beyond the console and increase our potential audience. And also, another thing that was reported by, like, the major reporters in the game industry is that there's going to be more acquisitions for PlayStation. Like, it was reported, it's like, this was Bungie, but there's more coming. There's going to, like...
I'm kind of curious. I'm wondering who's buying Rockstar. That's the...
I don't think they're going to... Well, Rockstar announced today, funny enough, that they're making GTA 6.
I mean, if someone bought Rockstar, that would be like...
They said well underway. Well underway.
That would be the biggest... Because forgetting about Call of Duty... Like, I understand that COD is, like, the biggest cash cow in the gaming industry, but COD has not been good for 10 years. Like, people are only buying it because it's a Call of Duty game.
Yes.
And that is how you get your FPS fix.
Mm-hmm. Because the new Battlefield...
Yeah, Battlefield was terrible. What other first-person shooters are there? Halo?
Well, Halo was good this year, but the thing is, I'm thinking of stuff on both consoles. But
Yeah,
Halo's
that's
only
true.
PC and Xbox. That's the thing. Like, I'm thinking of, like, what's a good multi-platform FPS game? I mean, I have a problem with like most FPS games that come out nowadays. There's just something that I don't like about like each one that comes out. There's like something that I nitpick. I'm like, all right,
the whole
this
thing
is not
now
good.
is like them trying to do like third person shooters, like Rogue Company. Splitgate was first person, but honestly, like Splitgate was fun, but there was just something off about
Splitgate is
it.
Halo. It
is Halo.
It was too quiet. Like that's what I'm
yeah. There's no
it's
background music. It's just the problem with those types of games is like they weren't thinking big enough. So that game is like only 4v4 or something.
Oh yeah.
That needs to be like 10v10. Like nothing is happening. There's no music in the background.
Yeah, there's no music.
If you're not
no
playing
ambience.
with other people, me and Justin played Destruction All Stars way back when that came out, and that had the same problem where there was no announcer, no music, nothing, and the gameplay was just astronomically boring. Like,
they almost
nothing was
charged
going
full
on.
price for that game. Remember, we got it like it was.
We got
like
it free.
It was PS Plus giveaway or whatever. Not giveaway, but they make the monthly free games, and they made that free. I almost ended up buying it like originally because I thought, oh, this might look fun. As I played, I'm like, no, thank God.
I know, like that was really bad. Like, and and that's just a part of the trend where like anything that's like a $60 game, you have to kind of beware. Dying Light 2 came out the day we're recording this. Yeah,
there's bugs.
And me and Justin have been playing Dying Light 1 recently, just playing it through because we like to just play like
anymore.
It's actually you pretty much just get locked out of the game every time you try to do a rise like safe house.
We go into like the rise outpost or whatever. And we're in there for like 5 minutes. It's fine. Then the game crashes. It's like, okay, what am I supposed to... Like, we can't play the game. It's like, it's really impossible to play
you just get soft-locked. Not even soft-locked. It actually just crashes, but...
Yeah, completely crashes the game. Completely. Sends you back to the dashboard.
But yeah, so like... But in terms of like the FPS games like we were talking about originally, like this would be like a game changer if they made something that could compete with Halo, if it's a futuristic shooter.
If they can make anything half as good as the Halo games that they used to make, I mean, like, you got something here. But again, they're saying it can be multi-platform, so it may not even matter. But what I'm very interested in is to see what these future acquisitions are. Because everyone always... I've seen people always talk about it, like maybe they'll buy Capcom or Konami or something like that. I mean, that would be very interesting if that were to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely like... they're probably talking about like Japanese developers. Yeah. If they bought From Software...
I thought those...
No, they commissioned... Bloodborne? They commissioned Bloodborne, to be a Sony exclusive. Sekiro is, I think, on Xbox. Oh yeah, and then Demon's Souls has always been PlayStation exclusive. So like, if they bought From Software, that's like monster
might as well
studio.
At this point, because all their games are exclusive to them.
Like,
almost.
If I was playing on Xbox and Elden Ring was exclusive, I'm buying a PlayStation.
Oh yeah, that's multi-platform.
The FromSoft games like have never disappointed me. So I'm kind of interested to see what their future acquisitions are. I don't know if Xbox said they have some, but I'm sure they do. It's Microsoft.
Oh, yeah.
They dropped that money that they dropped. I don't know if we mentioned this. That was in dollars. That was in hard money. That was not like a wire transfer. They paid that in cash. Can you even imagine the pallets of... Yeah, can you even imagine?
Like 8 million
Like, what do you even do? Like, I can't even...
Are you sure this been confirmed? It was cash?
Allegedly. This is what I heard, but like... But that's like unbelievable. Like, so if
crazy.
They have that in liquid money, that's ridiculous.
In a giant safe somewhere. But the main thing, what I wanted to say, not the main thing, but what I want to say is that everyone thought that this was like, when the news first broke, everyone thought that this was just like, oh, Sony's reacting, and they just quickly put this together. This has been in the works for years. Like, this was not something they're just like, okay, well, they bought Activision, we're going to buy Bungie now. We just got to do it. Like, no, it's been for years.
Pretty much like I was saying. Like, if you look at the timeline here with Bungie, they always were working with Sony. Like, the exclusive stuff for Destiny was always with Sony. Again, it's so weird because Microsoft was their company.
Was their guy.
But I think them being bought by Sony will be a good thing because Sony might help them get back on track. Destiny 2, like I hear the DLCs are good, but like the mainline game was just not good. So maybe them being purchased, and then they've been doing like terrible business decisions recently. Like, did you hear the whole controversy with them straight up removing an entire DLC because the game was too big? It was like it had the same problem Call of Duty has. They have real bad issues with compressing data. Mm-hmm. So the game was like 200 and something gigs. They just removed an entire DLC that people paid for. There was no refund.
What?
There's no way to get it back. They didn't even make it an optional download. They got rid of it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so...
That's unbelievable.
So maybe Sony will make it an optional download.
Don't scam your customers, please.
No, yeah. And you know how much these Destiny DLCs cost? They're like $30, $40.
Almost
yeah.
full price.
Yeah, that was like a whole controversy. So maybe Sony... I feel like Sony kind of works closely with their studios.
you were talking about how like this Sony could help them, but like if you're like a Destiny fan, they seemingly are teasing making like a Destiny movie or show, doing more with it, like what they were talking about with like the Sony
a lot of people
pictures and
forget
stuff.
like Sony and Microsoft are not just game studios.
Oh,
like Microsoft, obviously, their whole thing is computers. Sony's whole thing is actually like home entertainment.
Yeah, I mean
they're
they
also
make
a
the
publishing.
Spider-Man movies.
They make the movies. Your TV at home is probably a Sony TV.
Yes.
So people forget that a lot, but so it doesn't surprise me that they want to make a movie. I feel like there could be a really good Destiny movie. There's good lore. That's another problem with the games. It's not in the game. you have to go look at the grimoires online.
On Bungie. That's so
it's
stupid.
just so stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. It has this great story that isn't in the game. You have to go into the grimoire on Bungie.com and dig through it to find out what anything
loved the story.
means.
Like, you gotta, but like, I couldn't follow it in Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing. If you miss a DLC, if you don't want to drop $60, the story just doesn't make sense to you anymore.
Yeah.
You just don't know what's going on.
And you have to go on the grimoire.
The grimoire. I don't know if they do that anymore with
Destiny
Destiny 2, but it is. Yeah, that was so stupid. I have the Destiny companion app, and it's just so ridiculous.
Oh, you have the grimoire on your phone?
Yeah, you have to kill like 1,000 fallen, and then you unlock the next thing. You go kill like the flood. The hive, whatever they're called.
Yeah, whatever they call the new flood.
The new flood. Yeah, you go kill 500 thralls and you get the next grimoire. It was such a dumb system, but I understand it's because you get residual income from the apps too, and these game companies are focused on money, their businesses.
Yeah.
Except for FromSoft, they care.
Yeah, this
Dark Souls is the
Ring's
greatest
out,
franchise. I will be playing that.
Doesn't it come out like the 28th?
Yeah, it comes out this month.
That's multi-platform,
so
everyone gets to enjoy that one.
Such a good game. I don't even know if that game's multiplayer actually.
No, it's multi-platform. I mean,
no. I mean, I know it's multi-platform, but like Sekiro was not multiplayer at all. Usually there's PvP and you can invite people in to help you fight bosses. But like I've been watching gameplay and it is like really open world. Like it's strange to see.
Well, aren't all of them kind of open world? And I mean, not open.
They're not
world.
open
They're like
world. They're linear, but they're
linear.
open. Yeah, you can go
like
anywhere in the game at any point.
I have to play Bloodborne. They gave that away for free once, and I'm just so confused playing it. I have to
Justin beat Father Gascon on his first try, and then never played the game again.
I was out of breath. That was the most unbelievable.
The last
fight.
firebomb gets thrown, and you just hear.
I was literally out of breath. Like I just came back from the gym or something.
No, Bloodborne was the best FromSoft game ever, actually. Like either Bloodborne or Dark Souls 1. I don't think we have really much else to say about this because obviously it's not as big as the Microsoft.
The reason why we don't have as much to say about this one is because they don't really have a lot of IPs. Like Activision Blizzard is like 10 different games I can think of off the top of my head. Like this one's like, okay, Destiny, and it's like, okay, well they made Halo. Like this, they could get an exclusive FPS possibly one day.
Yeah, there's Destiny, and then there's the new IP, which hopefully is an FPS game, because FPS games have just been dead. Like, they're completely dead.
In my opinion, they've been dead. I don't think there's been, very good FPS games in a pretty long... Oh, well, actually, no. Halo has been received well by the fans, so I can't say that. But it's, only Halo, which is exclusive to just Xbox and PC. One multi-platform FPS game.
If you guys have been a fan of, any of the CODs that came out, and any of the Battlefields, and I'll say in the last 5 years, because like I said, COD hasn't been good in 10 years, but I know some of you guys didn't play the original CODs, like on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. In the last 5 years, which CODs, which Battlefields did you like? How many Halos were there even during that time?
There's only one Halo.
One?
Halo 5, and then people didn't, the campaign was short. And there was a bunch of stuff with it.
If you want to make a case, I'd actually really like to hear it in the comments. We did read the comments, and thank you for saying stuff on the last video. we sat here and read them.
Yeah.
There wasn't that much, but we appreciate the feedback.
I think the biggest news that came out of it, not just this, was they want to buy more studios. It's like, oh, geez, okay, well, we got to see where this goes, and I think it's going to be happening more this year. I mean, this one took, apparently I think it was about 3 years to put together. So, maybe we won't know for another couple of months or even another year. But, it's just interesting to see where this is going. And then, what we talked about in the first video where, they own Bungie now. If they launch a Game Pass service, like we were talking about, Bungie games will be on the Sony Game Pass service, assuming they make one. Just like how Xbox would put, a Bethesda game on Game Pass. So, again, the Game Pass stuff, that's assuming they do make a Game Pass. It seems like they're going to. I think there was a lot of rumors I saw recently about
It seems
that.
like they kind of have to just to, you know,
Compete.
in a response. Yeah, to compete.
There's like a rumored like 3-tier system for their Game Pass, so it's only rumors right now though, but you just have to see how that plays out in the coming. Maybe this year they'll launch it, but you know we just have to wait and see. You know, we already talked about basically everything, that Bungie's going to remain independent. They want to stay ideally multi-platform. We said it was, $3.6 billion for this acquisition, which is kind of crazy to think they spent $3.6 billion on this, and Microsoft spent like, what was it, 68.3, about $70 billion
like
on Activision.
Allegedly in cash.
Allegedly. Well, I'll have to see. I want to fact check. Actually, you know what? I'm going to fact check that right now. Microsoft.
If that is true, though, that's like unbelievable. Like that, I couldn't even imagine. I don't know. Like it's
all cash deal.
Oh yeah,
all
so it's true.
Deal.
It was an all cash deal.
CNBC right here, CNBC.com. Microsoft to buy Activision in $68.7 billion, all cash deal.
Like that's like more money than God. Like I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine because when you hear about these like the world's richest men, right? You got Elon, Jeff Bezos. Mm-hmm. Like, Elon has, like, $300 billion, but how much does he have on him at a time?
Oh, yeah.
Like, maybe a couple $100 million liquid at a time. The rest is all stock value.
I was also going to say they're facing, like, they're like, investigating the deal for, like, regulation. But I think, someone from Xbox I saw said that they are confident that's going to, like, go through fine because even with this, they're still third in, like, the marketplace behind Sony and, like, Tencent, I believe the other. That's like, I think Tencent's people that own like League of Legends, I think.
Oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So they'd still be like technically third. Somehow they'd only be third.
Wow, they're that far behind League?
Well, I mean...
I know it's a big game, but like...
Tencent owns more than League.
That's still like, that's crazy though. No, because it's just like you always think Sony, Microsoft head to head. Yeah. And then Nintendo in third, but not the case.
There was a picture I remember seeing just showing what Tencent owned.
But yeah, they'll probably beat any allegations of them becoming a monopoly.
Oh yeah, they're openly confident about it.
The thing is, like with that, like you kind of have to prove that they're removing the competition from the equation, and obviously, like Sony isn't going anywhere, Nintendo isn't going anywhere.
Oh, here you go. Okay, yeah, Microsoft, Sony, Tencent. Tencent owns Riot Games, which owns League of Legends, Valorant. They own Supercell, which makes Clash of Clans.
Oh wow.
Epic Games.
Oh, well, there you go.
Which I didn't realize, which is Fortnite.
Well, that's why.
Digital Extremes, which is Warframe. So Sony owns Naughty Dog, Insomniac, Santa Monica, which is God of War, Guerrilla, which is Horizon, or some other ones like SP, which is Ghost of Tsushima. And that's not all of them, just the ones I'm naming here. Then Microsoft, which owns Activision, Blizzard, the Coalition, which is their Gears of War studio, 343, which is their Halo studio, King, which is the people who make Candy Crush, Obsidian, which is Fallout New Vegas, Mojang, which is Minecraft. These are just some of the ones I'm naming. And then, it breaks down the other stuff, which are kind of still independent, like EA and Nintendo and Capcom, which people think Capcom and Konami might be bought soon, but we'll have to see. The thing is, like, I'm not rooting for any of these companies to be bought. To keep it even, I feel like Sony would have to, like, if you want to keep it even, Sony should buy Capcom to keep it even, because Microsoft just bought, like, Capcom
is kind of a huge publisher, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, because then they would own all the Resident Evil games.
Well, that Activision deal was so huge that I think you have to do something like that. We basically covered, like, all the main details of this and that. There's going to reportedly be more acquisitions, and there's going to be probably more from Microsoft as well. I think we've touched upon everything with regards to the Sony Bungie deal.
Thank you for watching the video. If you liked the video, like it. If you hated the video, go ahead and dislike it because that still works for us.
Leave a comment and subscribe too.
Yep. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you next time.